And welcome back. Here we are again. You guys should be able to hear us this time because we don't have a bunch of guns going off behind us in the background.
It turns out that everyone finished nice and early today. Last shots, we were out on the range hearing calls over the match radio at about, 3:30, 3:45, the first squads were finishing, and now probably by about 4:15 or 4:30, everyone was done.
Yeah, everybody was gone. This is nice.
So that will, if you're coming out to shoot the match tomorrow and or Sunday, you can expect probably a pretty quick flow.
Yeah, there were no backlogs, no hiccups, nothing that I'm aware of. Now, you guys were out running around way more than I was. Did you guys run across or see anything that slowed you down?
It seems like the whole match is flowing pretty well. If there's going to be a slowdown, it's probably going to be on stage 10 with those 35-yard poppers and 25-yard swingers. They take a little bit longer to shoot, and they also take a little bit longer to reset. But the match staff is keeping an eye on those, and I think they've got it pretty well in hand, the design.
And that's stage 1 with the 0 behind it.
Correct.
There we go. Now that we got that stage figured out. Slow by Sunday, I'll have a few more stages figured out. Like I know now 4 is right there.
Yeah, with his knee being totally rebuilt. 6 weeks ago, it was recently.
Yeah.
Dave,
my brain is next.
Yeah. Well, Dave's been here in the booth for most of this kind of running sport back here. So
it's kind of like Chinese water torture, but different. I get left here by myself all the time. Okay. So let's talk. So do we want to go ahead and run the Wampler video now so that people can actually hear?
Yeah, I think you had good stuff to say. Let's put him on.
So unfortunately, earlier when we ran the Wampler interview, the audio didn't come through, but that has been since corrected. So we're going to change the scene real quick here. And we're going to add Mr. Wampler to the screen. There we go.
All right, everybody. I'm here with David Wampler. Just got off of his first stage of the day, right? Stage 8.
Oh, stage 8. It was a fun one. I tell you what, it's a good stage to start on too. There's not many technical movers, anything like that. It's just a straight execution stage.
Good to hear. What do you think of stages so far? I guess you walked, right?
So yesterday? I walked everything yesterday. The stages look fantastic. So looking at the actual matchbook, which I look for just kind of weird things when I'm actually looking at the matchbook, because I know it lays out a little bit differently when it's on the ground. It looked very technical in the matchbook itself. Now, when we actually got here and saw the stages on the ground, they look awesome. Like actually being able to see how they're actually set up. The stages flow very, very well. Tons of options. They actually look way more technical on the paper, where you're like, oh man, that's going to be like a weird, how do you even like begin to approach that? Then when you actually see it in person, put your own eyes on it, it's not nearly as bad. And you actually see it and you're like, these stages look really, really, really fun. And you can play a lot to your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, I kind of get like an IPSC flavor out of it almost, like challenging but not complicated, 100%.
Right? With Bill kind of doing a lot of this head work here, with all of his expertise in actually like taking a lot of his experiences from shooting all over the world, you can definitely see and feel a lot of the flavor of IPSC here.
All right, thank you very much, David. Have a good match today.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, that was David Wampler earlier today, after his first stage.
And I look, if I didn't know better, I would have guessed someone paid him to say all that.
Yeah, no,
and he wasn't.
I will say people have been very complimentary on camera and even off camera too. When there's no risk of it getting out.
Yeah, I mean, I've not heard anything but good things. So unfortunately, I cannot shoot it. But walking around and looking at the stages myself, they look very good. And look, I've got the best view as you have had, which is from a drone. And the layout from all the layouts of all the stages, very clean, very crisp. Everything's running smooth. So it's going to make for a great weekend.
Yeah. I was here on Wednesday morning when the staff and the range masters were doing the final walkthroughs. I guess also some on Tuesday night. And There were like a fair number of things tweaked, but there weren't really any big design changes. It was just making things safer, making things a little easier to score in terms of not putting, not like making walls, like the corner of a wall a vision barrier without some kind of like core plast on it or something. Just a lot of little things to make the match kind of come together better and be easier to referee fairly.
Now, what's the we talked earlier, you're a Western PA guy, so what's the weather supposed to be like for this weekend?
Well, the last I checked, it was looking pretty good.
Okay.
We discussed this briefly before we went live, and I had never actually looked at it
Right.
afterward. But
Yeah, of course.
as you do.
I know when I checked it this morning, it was looking pretty decent for the weekend.
Yeah, so tomorrow is supposed to be partly cloudy with a high of 77, and Sunday is looking like possibly a cloudy morning and maybe a little bit of rain, but that's likely to fall overnight just based on how the weather usually goes around here. It's likely it might be like a damp on the ground in the morning, but it is unlikely to be actively raining, I think, during the match. Again, my impression based on what I see in the forecasts and what usually happens around here.
Okay.
But yeah,
So-
lovely weather for shooting.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be set up for great shooting this weekend. And that's what we have now. Or did we want to talk about update on scores?
We can do scores update. I also got an interview with Ryan Huang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that when?
That should be in the. Well, I uploaded it to the media section somewhere.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to switch back and we'll add that interview up right there. And let's see what he has to say.
Alrighty. I'm here with Ryan Wong on stage 2. We're going to get some of his thoughts on the match and the stage.
Some of my thoughts on the stages at the match. Well, first, thank you for having us. This is a beautiful match and a beautiful facility. I'm having a ton of fun today, and as you can see, the weather is incredible. The stages are actually pretty complex. We're not doing a lot of stagnant shooting. There's a lot of different shooting positions.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Not sure what's going on there.
The stages are actually pretty complex. We're not doing a lot of stagnant shooting. There's a lot of different shooting positions. It makes it quite interesting. There's a lot of spread in times, and that's what we like to see at the higher level of competitive shooting. So I'd say they're pretty great.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity for separation, I thought, too.
Absolutely. Huge separation. And it's good to see a lot of high-level shooters here today. That lets me know, like, I have a lot of things that I can strive for, and that's going to make me better. So being in the squad with some incredible guys, that's going to make me a better shooter.
Absolutely. How many stages have you been through today so far?
This is our third stage. We got a long way to go. It's going to be a long day ahead of us.
Yeah, the one-day schedule, that's a pretty aggressive one.
Yeah, so I actually shot Texas a couple months ago in one day, and I remember when I got to the final 2 stages, my brain was fried. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. But I showed up the day before and walked everything. I did the same thing here and walked everything. So I know when I get to those final 2 stages, which are actually some of the hardest stages of the day for me, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be mentally focused at that point. So hopefully I can hold it together.
That's 12 and 13 for you, right? The last ones?
Yep, absolutely. 12 and 13.
Yeah, some of Greater Pittsburgh's most inventive movers down there.
Yes, I've never seen anything like that. It'll be my first time shooting a steel while moving other than a Texas Star. So wish me luck. I'm mad that you guys did that to me.
Absolutely. It's honestly, it's like a Texas Star just moves straight.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. You shot at Revolver. You did fantastic. So I'm going to learn from you. I'm going to get it done.
All right, thanks very much for your time. Best of luck the rest of the day.
Thank you so much. It's great meeting you, Jay. Thank you.
Likewise.
All right. Another great interview.
Yeah, we had a great time out talking to shooters today. I've got a couple more. I may put those up, but I haven't had time to get them into our streaming platform yet. But they'll go up over the evening, over the night, possibly sometime tomorrow morning, as I've got time to get them together.
I did have a phone conversation with Yi Min. He's coming in tonight, and he's going to stop in tomorrow afternoon, early afternoon. And he gave me a heads up about some other individuals coming to nationals that I was unaware of. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. It's not just going to be Eric. There's going to be a bunch of other people coming throughout the year to nationals, but we'll let him talk about that more tomorrow. We're going to have guests all throughout the weekend. So just keep an eye out, because we could very well give a 5-minute warning that we're going to go live because we're going to have an in-studio guest. So still a lot of shooters to come tomorrow. Travis Tomasi. And then you've got, I guess they created a super squad with Aaron Edens, Jacob Hetherington, Christian Seiler, Eddie Garcia, Bill Drummond, Shane Coley, Morgan Leonhardt. They'll all be here shooting tomorrow, plus others. So we're going to get as many people through here as we can.
Yep. Yeah, that super squad, they're on the PM AM schedule. So keep an eye out starting tomorrow afternoon for uploads regarding them. You'll try and get some stage runs. We'll be following them pretty closely through the match. And hope to bring you some fast-hitting coverage as we watch the race to the finish.
Yeah, I've been there's a shooter from the Fredericksburg area, Ron Francisco, very good open CO shooter. I've been trying to get on the podcast for a while. He has his reasons for not coming on, but I'm going to drag him into the studio this weekend. So we'll chat with him one way or another if I have to get help abducting him. So what are we looking like? You've got the scores up there. So let me go ahead and we'll switch our screen here again. If I can find it. Come on now. Okay. Well, Shazam. All right, we're just going to go with this, and I'm just going to add it. It can cover me up. I don't care. Not going to hurt me.
Alrighty. So, again, we'll start with Carry Optics. We've got Tom Castro holding his lead against a pretty good charge from Wes Cronin over the course of the afternoon. We spent a lot of time following Squad 201, and he was generally Wes seemed like in pretty good form for the day. Rob Hewins, rounding out the top three at the moment. I don't recall which squad he was in. I don't know if we saw much of him while we were out and about.
Okay. He did stop in the studio and we were chatting. So I didn't realize he was at third at that point. I hadn't been following the scores. So
yeah, fourth and fifth, we have a pair of Pennsylvania guys. Actually, Zach Poland shot the match with me on my squad during the staff shoot, and it's good to see him up pretty high, even with kind of the staff day handicap. Both because you're ROing yourselves, and because you're dead tired after like weeks of setting up a match. You see Ryan Huang, who we just spoke to down in ninth there, and yeah, the race is, I think, shaping up to be a good one. I think, oops, a little too far back. I think the margin Tom Castro's currently leading by means is going to be maybe in the mix for something with the likely match winner.
Okay.
Or one of the likely match winners, I guess.
Okay. Now, what are we looking like in open?
In open, we've got.
Let's see if those have changed at all.
So, the leader, well, I guess Kang Joe, who I guess is going by Kangaroo. We didn't come across him either. That was a name I suppose I didn't know going into the match. So,
okay,
definitely one we'll have to keep an eye on at future majors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar either. So, and right now, I mean, he's topping the entire match at the moment.
Yeah. Even he put some distance on Tom Castro, which is impressive. That's gonna be, I suspect Aaron Edens can beat that score, but it's going to be a lot closer, I think, than I might have guessed.
Okay. All right. All right. How are we looking in? We'll go limited optics next, since that's the top three right there.
So as of Friday, it's a very close top three, with Kevin Grosbay, of course, leading the way. Tenor, I actually don't know how to say his last name.
We'll go with Dangus.
Sure. A very close second there.
Or we could just call him Tanner.
We'll just call him Tanner.
Okay.
Very close second place there.
Holy cow!
yeah.
Yeah.
Within a percent. I guess what 0.74% behind Kevin, and then David Wampler there at 98.28%. So just a percent further back from Tanner. Again, very close top three, and a top that might actually change. The order between those three shooters might change based on whether somebody other than those three wins, or even if somebody other than those three wins some stages over the weekend. As the hit factor math shuffles around and the value of stage finishes changes if people set new high scores. I could definitely see Tanner and Kevin changing place, or maybe even Tanner and David.
Now it's interesting looking at their actual scores because Wampler was by far the fastest, with Tanner being second, but they both had multiple mics, and Dave also had a no shoot. So makes you wonder, change a few of those,
Yeah, I mean, that is wow, it's surprising.
Yeah. But he must have been really trying to put the pedal to the metal and the movement,
Yeah.
So
it is. So Kevin, his time 289 is actually, it's 19 seconds slower over the course of the match than David's was.
Yeah.
But I guess like the difference, that comes to about 6 mics, I guess. Which is more or less the difference in the score line. I guess 93% points too. That's impressive. This is a match that has a lot of partials on the stages. Obviously, that's not something we were able to show in our walkthrough videos based on when we were able to get them filmed and when they hung the targets for the first time. But yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a high shot difficulty match in terms of distant targets, except on the one stage. But it is a high shot difficulty match in the sense that there are partials on a good number of partials on almost every stage. So to have that 301 Alpha 50 Charlie scoreline is pretty impressive, even with the dot.
Yeah, while there are some just open targets, there aren't clusters of open targets. So yeah, it's I think Dave Wampler hit it on the head when he said a technical match.
Very much so, yeah.
So especially that, stage 1 with a 0.
Yep.
Very technical.
Very. That one, actually, we spent a fair bit of time getting footage out there, and I thought it ended up looking interesting both from above and from the camera on the ground, in the sense that the back portion of the stage where you're shooting at the distant targets is obviously very much like a get into your spots and set up, because it's a 35-yard mini popper. Not a lot of people can shoot that without like paying attention, say, to stance even. It's more than your average USPSA marksmanship challenge. But then you get to the back of the stage, and it's a relatively large number of targets that you can get to fastest by kind of sliding around. And I thought that was a very interesting contrast in styles on a single stage. I always appreciate a variety in challenges on a stage, and that was a good one.
Okay. I'm looking at the limited scores, and right now it's a runaway. I mean, Joey Sauerland has put basically 24% on the next closest G.
Yep. So
that's crazy.
Bob Evans is a local guy.
I thought it was a restaurant.
Yeah, well, that too.
Okay.
I'm not sure it's the same.
Same,
Evans,
maybe. Yeah. If it is, God bless him.
That'd be absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's been in the sport for a very long time.
Okay.
So he's one of the older GMs, I guess. So I was saying to our other cameraman that it's interesting watching guys like that shoot, because you see a guy like walk up to a stage and he's older guy. I don't know if he's going to be very fast, but then he just goes up and he's not running fast, but he's shooting so efficiently and just hitting everything the first time. So he's still fun to watch, even if he's not quite the athlete that anymore that Joey is.
He's not the Kevin Garospi.
Right. He's not a track meet guy, but he's still a really good shooter.
Awesome.
Yeah, and all the more impressive to see Joey put such a big gap on him.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting when Joey gets a little bit more competition this weekend to see how that shakes out.
Absolutely.
Now that covers the 4 big ones. So let's check production real quick.
Yeah, maybe we'll check in on PCC too. Production, there's, I guess, a little bit going on. It's, I think, pretty much in classification order, more or less, as far as
Yep.
the shooters who have finished so far.
Except that those U's like to sneak up there, don't you, JJ? Uh-huh. Okay, so PCC would be next. Corey right at the top.
Yeah, a nice 10-11% gap on the next closest PCC shooter, which is about what we expect.
Right. And then there's 3 more G's coming this weekend, so
Yeah,
that'll add a little bit more excitement to the mix.
yeah. We've got Anthony Zabonik too, who is up in that realm again.
Okay.
I believe so. The name sounds familiar, and I think I've seen it near the top of the predictions chart. So he's one to keep an eye on. I should mention Mark Schulte there got in touch with me on Facebook and said thanks for the stage walkthroughs. That's kind of what we want to do with those to make it possible for people who can't be here a day early to walk stages to still know what they're getting into and have like an idea of where to start their stage plan when they do get here.
Yeah, and I thought they turned out really good too. So, and we've talked about, Jay and I obviously talk about a bunch of stuff when we're not live on the air, more ideas as we do this. I think one of the things we might attempt to try to do in the future is the way you did those overlays with the target identification and then somehow put that on top of people's runs. Like if we show a stage 8 from a drone and we put that on top and diminish the transparency some, then you can, I think it'll just add to the effect and be something pretty neat. So you may have started something that you didn't want to. May have created more work.
Ever is it thus.
All right, so let's go back for just a second and talk about this weekend because, I mean, there are still a lot of people coming. Frank Gow, who's a new GM, Luke Cow, John Vlieger. We've already mentioned some of the names. Travis Tomasi will be here. Again, Aaron Edens, Jacob Hetherington, Christian Seiler, Eddie Garcia, Shane Coley, Morgan Leonhardt, Chris Tilley. Almost missed that. And then there are other G's as well. Sal Luna is going to be here.
Oh, I didn't
Nick
know that.
Reynolds. Well, yeah, the last I checked, Sal was supposed to be on for Squad 410.
Good to know.
So it's going to heat up. So, and Greg Robinson's shooting all day tomorrow. So by the end of tomorrow, we'll have a better idea of where PCC sits.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there's going to be some interesting stuff going on. Jake Walker, Skylar Davis, both G's. So there's a lot. There are a lot of people. Riley Fox is shooting, I guess, Saturday. So you can almost say that by Sunday at noon, PCC will be settled. So a lot of people, a lot of high shooters still, capable shooters coming in to shoot. Like I said, Ron Francisco's another one. Mike Shadalov will be here.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So we're going to drag him. I'm going to drag his butt into the studio. So talk to the Russian Bear. Anything else you can think of for this weekend coming up?
Well, I mean, it's just going to be a really exciting race as we get down toward the end. And I think something you can expect from us, especially on Sunday when we're going to be live for such a long part of the day, is that we've taken scads of video so far, and there's a limit to what we can get cut together and uploaded with just the 3 of us currently in the booth, with, I suppose, our extra cameraman there off to the side.
We're going to have to drag him onto screen at some point so he can get his due.
Absolutely. But as I was saying, Sunday we've got time to spare, so we should. I think we will very easily be able to put some of the stuff we've taken today and the stuff we will take tomorrow, get that up so you can see it as well as what we'll be bringing to you live from Sunday.
There you go.
Yeah. I've got a super exciting overhead stage run we could close things out on.
I like right now.
Yeah, let's give me a full screen share.
All right, you got it. Once he gets this thing uploaded, we'll I'll put it on the screen for you guys, and this should be exciting. I haven't seen this yet. So, and I still have 9 drone videos that I haven't even had an opportunity to edit and put together yet. So there are more videos coming. Plenty more videos coming.
Have to remount my external hard drive. Looks like there we go.
Okay.
7.
This is the life of trying to be live at a sporting event and get stuff out.
It's been all kinds of excitement, and I mean that in
quite the learning process.
All kinds of panic as timers count down and the moment to go live.
As we look up and see the timer on the screen, oh dear God, hurry!
Oh, we've got 3 minutes left.
Who put the timer up? Turn that thing off.
All right, there's my screen share. This is Isaac McLaren on stage 11.
Come on now. There we go.
Toward the beginning. Special permission from Isaac to do the low camera. You know, my drones are pretty loud. Dave's are much quieter. So I like to. We'll let him shoot, and then we'll come back.
Well, I don't think they're going to hear anything. So
well, there's no audio, but we'll do the golf thing.
Yeah. You just have to talk in a whisper. And away we go.
There you go. Stage 11.
Boom.
If you see me with the drone up and you don't mind a little bit of buzzing behind you, let me know if you want that viewpoint and we can make it happen.
Boom. See you guys tomorrow.